everyone. Thanks for joining us today. I hope you're all doing well, and I'm very excited for this presentation. My name is Rita Wolfson, and I started financial social work just a little over 25 years ago. And with us today is Linda Benjamin, our relationship manager, and she'll be helping us with some of the Q&A. And Olga is here, and she is all things tech. Thanks for being here, ladies, and thanks to all of you. We want to welcome you personally and professionally. And my goal today with all of this information is to make sure that you can address your own relationship and financial future with money. And professionally, we have a lot of new tools to add to your client toolbox. So, little housekeeping is that I think it's probably not the chat box, actually, even though I've had that there for a long time. I guess it's in the Q&A, actually. So the slides aren't shared. As you can see, they are proprietary, but you will receive the recording, and it will be up on our website, Facebook page, and YouTube channel in the next few days. So type your questions into the question box, and we'll answer as many as time permits. There are no CEs or certificates of attendance for this webinar, just some really terrific information. I do like to start all of our presentations with our financial social work affirmation that goes just for today. I will love myself enough to face my fears, practice self-acceptance, and embrace hope. Silence my inner critic, speak my truth, and make peace with myself and with my past. And just for today, I will give myself permission to eliminate toxic people, beliefs, and behaviors from my life and prepare for a better tomorrow by healing my relationship with my money and with myself today. I believe that that truly captures the work that those of us here at the Center for Financial Social Work have been doing all of these years. As we begin, I'd like you to find your center, to take a deep breath in and slowly release it. We know that when we're talking about money, it brings up many, many different thoughts and feelings for everyone. So I like you to center yourself, and I'll do the same with one more deep breath in and one more deep exhale. Want to make sure you know that we do have a really very exciting and special announcement before the end of this program. And I am confident that all of you will appreciate it. So when I started beginning to plan this particular training, maybe 3-4 months ago, I expected it to go in one direction. And for those of you who may also create trainings, you may know that they can take on a life of their own. And I must say that this one definitely did. And I couldn't be any happier about it because I think it's in a great direction. So, although the webinar is called Money and Mental Health Toxicity, the further I got into developing these materials, the more obvious it became to me that money and mental health interdependence was really what we were talking about. So you see in this diagram that financial trauma, toxicity, burnout, and disconnect are all within the framework. And we'll begin by learning more about each. But the really important part of today's training is when we look at how do we help clients overcome these challenges. So we're going to start right off with something I've never done before, but I really fell in love with this graphic, and I wanted to know what you think of it. I would like you to go into the question box and share with us, what does this picture mean to you? What thoughts does it bring up? What ideas? How does it make you feel? Does anybody want to share that with us? No brave souls?
Couple answers.
Learning to go ahead.
Balance of money and life, balancing your credit challenge. Credit cards are heavier than cash. It feels like a
Wow.
balancing act. Balancing credit and money. Enough money for credit. Unbalanced keeps you in balance. Spending below your means keeps you in balance. I love that. Credit versus cash, stress.
Oh, I'm
Practice
so
balancing your
excited.
life, money, and credit. Make decisions. I love these. Balancing your finances. Cash utilization, increase cash, decrease debt. Cash versus credit, balancing wellness. I love that.
I love all
Balancing
of them.
sanity, balancing sanity and finances, credit stress.
Okay, I know we could go on a long time, and I appreciate everyone participating. It's just that I have so much to cover with you. Linda, thank you. And we have a few more things similar to this that we will be doing. So be ready, everybody. And thanks. Okay, so here we go. We also are going to start with uh, this poll question, and I have to pull up the polls. In preparing for today, you will see that I did kind of move towards being more inclusive to our attendees. I really see the need more and more to help us as helping professionals to go ahead and focus on our own financial lives, circumstances, futures, because we need to feel good about our money if we're going to help our clients feel good about theirs. So, Linda, while I'm showing, well, I guess I didn't tell people. If you, I seen that, okay, let me show this and suggest, let me share the results, but let me suggest that that 9% of you that have a different amount, you might want to put that into that question box and share it with us. So it's a somewhat even spread across um, the various choices. But I think it's something that I haven't addressed enough on these trainings, trying to focus all of us um, on the role of money in our lives also. So, anybody put anything in, Linda?
I let's see, someone said 2 million, and that's it.
Okay. All right, but it's a starting point. I'd like you to think about that and think about what that would look like for you and what that means to you. So, money and mental health interdependence manifests in all areas of our lives. Certainly, it impacts us emotionally and physically, socially, psychologically, mentally. The list does go on. I'm not going to read all of those to you. You can see them yourselves and catch up with them in the video afterwards. But we talk here a little about the risk factors. In my experience, having done this for all these years, money and mental health are really not connected nearly enough in this country. You will see some statistics I'll share with you from an organization based in England that is very focused on money and mental health. And I'm trying here to help us look at this relationship. First, we have some of the risk factors, and they are many. Then we look at what does it look like? So many of us in this profession would see a lot of the things under what would it look like or what would it feel like, and we associate them with other mental health problems or issues. We don't connect them often enough, in my experience, to really the role they play in clients in our own mental well-being. So we'll kind of weave this through the training, and that is which came first, the money problems or the mental health problems? The mental health problems or the money problems? And I hope you can answer that question by the end of the training. Not that I have it as a poll, but you can see here the belief, and this is from the Money and Mental Health Policy Institute in England. Mental health problems make it harder to earn, manage money and spending, and to ask for help. That leads to financial difficulty, and that financial difficulty causes stress and anxiety, made worse by collections of calls, collection activities, going without essentials, struggling with financial problems, stress, anxiety, trauma, and that leads to mental health problems. So this training was supposed to be on financial toxicity. So we're certainly going to look at that now. When I first heard of that term, maybe 5-6 years ago, and I hadn't realized until doing this preparation that it was a term coined in 2013 by researchers at Duke University and tied to the costs of cancer treatments, which are really, really quite devastating and makes cancer care much less affordable for patients and families, and leads to, as you can see in this graphic, skipping drug doses or not filling or refilling prescriptions, borrowing money or refinancing home, increased anxiety, stress, or depression, reduced spending on food, clothing, and leisure activities. And I've seen the statistic that a significant majority of those diagnosed with cancer do end up filing for bankruptcy. So this is a term used to describe problems a patient has related to the cost of healthcare. And here you can just see other ways. So in one study, 42% of participants reported a significant financial burden. So you're trying to deal with such an overwhelming diagnosis, the potential of having to quit your job or losing your job, having less money, and many more expenses. So that's financial toxicity. So let's look at financial trauma, the unhealthy reaction to financial problems and stress that reduce the ability to cope or function at home or at work. And financial trauma results from internalized negative beliefs and experiences about or with money. If we believe that money's always scarce, it represents power, there's never enough, these thoughts will drive our behavior and result in financial trauma. So what causes financial trauma? Negative money experiences. The outcomes, there are many of them. Again, these are as a reminder that when you see these events happening with clients or clients experiencing hoarding, workaholism, catastrophizing, think about it in connection to their financial circumstances. And the important thing to remember here is that financial trauma prevents anyone experiencing it from learning new skills, tools, or information to improve things. There are steps to be taken before clients are prepared to make a budget or take other steps beyond what they're currently doing. Next, we have financial burnout. That's when the stress of managing money causes mental and or emotional withdrawal from managing your finances. It's all kind of overlapping, isn't it? Because the result is a money disconnect. And being disconnected from your money means ignoring and avoiding it. Except I found this so interesting in my preparation. I found that in 2015, I did a webinar on the money disconnect. And at that point, I felt that it was because of technological advances, because we didn't physically see and touch and interact with our money every day, that we were becoming comfortable at avoiding it. But now in 2023, I understand and want to share with you that when clients avoid, disconnect from their money, and end up creating more financial problems, stress, and anxiety, that's what I now see as and call a financial disconnect. So let's look at who this affects and how it does. But before, I wanted to give you another poll, and that's this question. Logic. Okay. How are you or your clients experiencing and preparing for the coming recession? I read about this many times throughout every day and see that some people do think there will be a recession. Some people think there won't be a recession. But ready or not, we have to think about it. The more we plan and prepare, hopefully the less impact it will have on us. So just over 55% of you have voted. If you want to vote, go ahead. I'll count it down. and share it with you so we can keep going. Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'll close it and I'll share it. So some of us are working second jobs, looking for better paying jobs, saving or investing more, paying off debt. Paying off debt is a really big one. The less debt you have with these continuing increases in interest rates, the better off you will be. And reducing daily spending, which obviously isn't easy because everything costs so much more. Be that as it may, here we are. And I appreciate your voting, and I'm ready to keep going. So, this is what the most recent survey showed people are doing to prepare. And in so many ways, when COVID started, I really did not care for the kind of slogan that was popular is we're all in this together, because obviously COVID was impacting so many different people and populations and countries differently. But we are kind of in this together because we're all trying to muddle through with the finances of today. So, according to the American Psychological Association, high levels of debt are a common source of stress, which inevitably stress can lead to more serious chronic health conditions. Nearly 2/3 of all studies on debt reported a statistically significant positive relationship between income inequality and the risk of depression. And this recent survey found that financial stress is a key predictor of poor financial wellness. Those were higher money related stress reported saving 25% less than those with lower levels of financial stress. This graphic shows that 58% of Americans say they would work longer hours to get out of debt. This one kind of startled me. 19% of Americans expect to have more credit card debt at the end of 2023. If you follow us or attend these webinars with us, you may have heard me talk about the fact that going into the holiday season in 2022, people in this country had more credit card debt than ever before. And then we had Black Friday and Cyber Monday. And between it, people spent over $20 billion a year. $20 billion just on Black Friday and Cyber Monday. So we know that more people than ever are struggling with credit card debt. And you can see where you might fall if you needed to ask yourself, what would you do to get out of credit card debt? And here you see that my financial stress negatively impacts my mental health. So you have 18 to 34-year-olds, almost 3/4, certainly over a half of 35 to 54-year-olds. And then we have 55 and over. And you can see also how people are ranking their financial stress. This was in 2022, and living paycheck to paycheck. So, what percentage of Americans, this may be a little redundant actually, but let's do it. We'll launch it. What percentage of Americans say money is their biggest stressor? Okay, I'll go ahead. Well, we have a lot more participants on this one. We're over 70%. All right, I'll count it down. If you want to vote, do it now, and then I'll share the results. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thanks everybody for voting. And close it and share it. And then we will see what people said. Okay, I'll go ahead and hide it. I think we only have 1 or 2 more polls. Okay, so the answer was that 74% of those surveyed said that money is their biggest stressor. 59% of people cannot come up with $1,000 for an emergency. I think the statistic may be even higher for people unable to come up with $400 for an emergency. Okay, so this is the Money and Mental Health Policy Institute that I've been talking about. And this information I thought was important to share with you because according to them, over 420,000 people in problem debt considered taking their own life in England each year, and more than 100,000 actually attempt suicide. And people in problem debt, I've seen 3 times more likely, I've seen 4 times more likely, but it is a cause for concern. And there are people who do commit suicide, unfortunately, because of their financial problems. So 46% of people with debt also have a mental health diagnosis. 86% of people say that their debt makes their mental health issues worse. And people with depression and debt are over 4 times more likely to still have debt after 18 months compared to their counterparts with no debt. So, how much credit card do you think most people in this country have? Okay, what do you think? Okay, had a great number of you vote again, over 73%. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, wow, 75%, 76%. Thanks, everybody. Okay, I'll close it. I'll share the results with you. And then I will go ahead and show you the answer. Okay. So this is pretty recent. And you can see it also looks like student debt on average per household, car loans, mortgages. There were many concerns with a number like 14,000 or 3 or 8 or 10,000 as interest rates increase. Those numbers will only increase with them. So we're back to that question. Which does come first? Money problems or mental health problems? We talked about money problems. Now we're going to look at the fact that mental health problems can also cause money problems. because mental health conditions, like the ones we've been talking about, can be the underlying cause of money problems, like overspending during a bipolar manic episode, which can trap someone in the cycle of high interest credit card debt. So that same London-based not-for-profit says almost 1 in 5 people with mental health problems have problem debt. How many of you are seeing that, have considered that, or are talking about it with your clients? Those experiencing mental health challenges are 4 times more likely to be in problem debt than those without them. Roughly 1/3 of the interviewees said their mental health problems had made their financial situation worse. And financial difficulty significantly reduces recovery rates for common mental health conditions. I really just wanted to introduce this relationship between money and mental health. And there are those who don't like the connection to mental health, well, for most issues, and wish that there was different terminology. But right here, you're seeing this relationship, which is what was so important to me. So mental health conditions make it harder to achieve financial security, fueling money-related stress, which is often exacerbated by collections calls, by having to go without essentials such as food, heating, medicating, and leading to worsening mental health. So each of us, when we hear that word money, we have certain thoughts and associations. And I would appreciate if you would start putting in that question box what your first thought was when I asked you to do this. What was your first reaction when we started talking about money? Linda, are people writing things in? I hope they're a good audience.
Scam, stability, I need more. It's a tool. Freedom, barrier, fear, power, necessity, a comfort if you have it. Overwhelming, I need more. I feel guilty, a means to achieve. Never enough. Ability to retire at a reasonable age. I need to manage better. This is the lack of financial education. Money, do we have to fight about it? A tool for oppression. Evil causes problems. Constraint, white people.
Wow, this is so interesting. Oh my goodness, I want to make a comment on each of those, but I'm excited that you can hear, certainly, that we're all, so we are in a similar situation. We all feel the need for more. We don't have enough. We're worried about the future, about retirement. So many, I've never tried doing it this way, and I'm so excited because I love the fact that we can all just really be a little more vulnerable in this way and feel more connected to each other and less alone in these financial concerns. So underlying most of those words, thoughts, and reactions is safety and security. If you want to think about it, that's what money kind of represents to us, and so much more. And this word for sure, survival. Yes, lots to think about. So, you know what? I think I'm going to skip this last poll because the clock is ticking, and you can see that at the end of the year, in a poll, the biggest financial stressors that people were facing was inflation, increasing costs of living. And we touched on that a little while ago. Credit card debt, that's a really serious problem. And I'm concerned for everyone about. Okay, so we are financial social work. I'm going to just spend a very few minutes telling you about financial social work and why we do the work we do and how this fits into it, because we are at the intersection. And then we're going to actually go on to how do we address this? The intersection of politics, the economy, social work, economic, gender, and social justice on a micro, meso, and macro level. I see this as true social work. And you can see just a partial list here of how it flows through the work we do and in our personal lives also. So we explore the financial health fundamentals. It's heavily psychosocial. We look at the thoughts, feelings, attitudes, beliefs, values, and experiences that drive financial behavior, which is how we earn, spend, save, share, and borrow. Because until and unless behavior changes, nothing changes. It is very much a behavioral model. And at its core, it is about the relationship we each have and our clients each has with their money and with themselves. So it's a lot more than dollars, cents, debt, budgeting. It's about self-discovery, self-care, and self-healing, and taking ownership of your own financial health. This model is interactive, reflective, strengths-based. It's hopeful, helpful, and works with individuals and groups. We have thousands of graduates across the country and around the world. We're proud of that. We're happy about it. And our goal is to make a difference in people's lives. Actually, someone, when Linda was reading the list, she talked about, someone said the absence of financial literacy. And that's such a huge problem because we continue to raise generation after generation of financially illiterate men and women. And that's such a disservice. Financial health and wellness are essential components of physical, mental, emotional, and social well-being. It is a universal truth, not universally understood. And when we think that crisis intervention, referrals, even stipends, when we think of those as a principal method for helping clients with financial problems and stress and trauma, toxicity, it perpetuates the belief that financial problems are unavoidable and unpredictable. Certainly some are, but many more are not. And we have a responsibility to work with clients to make sure that we're helping them to be in a better and healthier place. So let's spend some time talking about looking at healing strategies. How do we work with clients to improve their money and their mental health? One thing is making that connection which I'm trying to do here, between money and mental health so that we can practice financial behavioral health. This is an ebook that you can download from the Financial Social Work website. The term financial behavioral health is one that I actually initiated back in January 2021, exactly 2 years ago. And I gave it the definition of identifying, addressing, and reducing the problems, stress, anxiety, shame, and other harmful feelings that result when money, physical, mental, and emotional health negatively converge. Certainly, we want to be aware and focus on the social determinants of health. They are so critical to the work we do and so important to clients' financial health and wellness. I found this particularly interesting for everyone on this training is the 5 financial well-being benefits that employers should consider, including in 2023. Lifestyle spending accounts. These allow employers to build an account that funds employees' everyday expenses and makes it easier for employees to choose what's most important to them. I'd love if you would share in the question box if you have lifestyle spending accounts available to you. Do you have student loan assistance available? It's certainly not new as a benefit to employees, but it is as vital today as when employers started offering it a few years ago. Emergency savings accounts, which helps employees save for financial emergencies by automatically deducting an amount from each paycheck and depositing it into a separate account created by their employer. Some employers are actually opting to match some of those contributions. Revamped 401ks. This, I believe, started a few years ago too. Well, we can see that over 80% of companies provide auto enrollment for new hires. We are always going to have fewer people opting out than in when it comes to 401s. So it is helpful to have auto enrollment. So do any of you have employers offering emergency savings accounts, revamped 401s? And the education piece is about helping employees understand these various offerings and make the best decisions they can on what to use. Linda, does anybody have any of these?
Yeah, we do. We have a couple yeses. I think more no's than yeses, though.
Well, unfortunately, that doesn't surprise me, but I do think that creating this awareness, maybe you can advocate for 1 or 2 of these. So helping clients understand healing, it isn't a linear process. It goes beyond dollar cents, debt, or budgets. So important about reducing the shame, self-blame that leads to self-sabotaging. And as I talked about before, the core of our work in financial social work is about healing relationship with our money and our relationship with ourselves. No one is in a position to improve their futures if they feel helpless and hopeless, if they don't have the support they need. It is about increased self-confidence, all of these pieces of self. Encourage clients to be more hopeful, to avoid re-triggering, to embrace financial self-care. And let me just take a moment to say financial self-care has nothing to do with massages or hairstyles or spa days. Financial self-care is about paying attention to your money, spending time each week with your money, scheduling it, seeing how much you have, how much you need, where is your money going? Certainly encouraging clients to improve their coping skills and decision-making ability and to avoid stressful financial situations. Helping clients to understand they are not their debt, and debt does not make you a bad person. When we get stuck in those thoughts, we are very stuck and not much is going to change. You are not your self-worth. It's not the same thing as your self-worth. You are not your net worth, and it is not the same thing as your self-worth. Your value is not based on your valuables. And of course, I'm sure you realize that locus of control is very important here when we think that our money is controlled by others, that there's nothing we can do about it. We're going to be much more passive and reactive than active. I thought I just really wanted to share this with you. 3 New Year's resolutions to lift up workers and their families in 2023, strengthen unions and the right to strike, boost worker pay and tackle wage inequality, and make pay more equitable for teachers. We could put in social workers and address the education shortage. That's out of the Economic Policy Institute. And engage clients in traditional healing practices, the things that we always do with clients, examine and work with. Certainly self-honesty. When we're avoiding and disconnected from our money, we can talk ourselves into thinking that things aren't that bad. And certainly learning to talk about money. It's 2023, and we still don't have the words, the terminology, the skill, the knowledge to talk about money. And shifting the mindset, letting go of being good or bad with money. We all know that labels are they're just wrong. We don't need them. We shouldn't have them. But shifting that mindset, provide clients with your willingness to discuss money. Add money questions on your intake form. They provide you with the opportunity to raise the subject of money when clients don't. Provide clients with the ability to accept themselves just as they are. That is the only starting point for change, for changing who they are. Many years ago, I did a support group, and at the end of every session, we all stood and held hands, and I had everyone go around one at a time and say, I accept myself just as I am. And the group responded together, you are accepted just as you are. And in one of those groups, there was a person who could not say that she accepted herself just as she was until the very last session when she started to cry. So provide clients with time and a place to make peace with their money, and provide them with a safe, non-judgmental space to learn and talk about money, because there aren't very many places like that. Provide clients the opportunity to reduce the shame surrounding their financial circumstances, the insight that money isn't your enemy or your friend, it is what you use to get the things you need and want, and provide the awareness that you exchange part of your life to earn the income to meet the costs of daily living. And that part of your life are those hours that you spend at work. Help clients to embrace hope, acknowledge that money is a problem, and that's okay. It's a problem for most of us. Help clients connect to their financial feelings, examine them, spend time with their money weekly, and forgive themselves for their financial past. Because if you don't forgive yourself, that's where you're going to stay stuck. How clients deserve, they expect, they accept. Okay, help clients to accept they deserve better, because they do, because it's somewhat self-abusive to have and live and try and cope with such financial problems, stress, anxiety, trauma. Can help clients consider committing to change. Help them connect to their values and priorities, and help them set personal and financial boundaries. Let's work together to empower our clients to thrive. So I thought, in closing, before, I have one more. Yes, I wanted to share this with you, and I have one more ask for you. If you could give your client one thing to improve his or her financial health and wellness, what would that be? And we need to do this quickly because I wanted to show you something very important, make an important announcement here. Linda, what do we get?
Passion, away shame, self-acceptance, peace of mind, self-confidence, education, hope, creating money, peace, organize the finances, hope.
Okay. All right. So before
Let
we
go
get,
of perfectionism. Sorry, that was a good one.
what was it?
Let go of perfectionism.
Whoa, yes, 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 yes,
That's a
thanks.
good one. Thank
It
you.
is, yeah. Okay, I want you all to know that we have this wonderful curated financial health and wellness professional community newsletter. It goes out twice a week. Olga, could you maybe put that into the Q&A box for people to copy? I'd appreciate it. I curate articles specifically for this community. So you, and beyond, I look at the medical aspects of money, at the debt pieces, at the health pieces, at the employee pieces. What else is in there, Linda? I include whatever I feel would be beneficial to our subscribers. So a few last things. I want to remind you that no one chooses to have many problems, but most people do. that although no one can or needs to know everything about money, everyone does need to know certain things about money. And if we want to do better and end raising generation after generation of financially illiterate men and women, we have to all take responsibility for teaching children, youth, families about money. And I just added this one after creating this training. The relationship between finances and suicide is far too prevalent. Remember, death doesn't have to be a death sentence. Always choose life. I wanted to tell you that we do have a wonderful financial health and wellness professional community. It's an organization committed to helping clients overcome money challenges and build wealth. This community provides financial professionals with the opportunity to interact, learn, network, connect, expand client resources, and support each other across diverse client populations. We have our next two webinars right here. I hope you'll join us. If you register and can't attend, we do send you the recording. So next month it's financial struggles contribute to social work burnout. And the month after is why financial behavioral health matters, no matter your profession. They will be great. We have lots of essays on our website from our graduates. You can see some of the wonderful topics that they've written about that you can read on the website. And drumroll, please, we have this special announcement. For those of you who have been with us before, you know what the financial social work certification is. Our students have 6 months of completed. It is self-study and self-paced, includes all the materials plus the final exam. Oh, it doesn't say this, but it also includes a beautiful certificate that people frame. But here's our announcement. For the past several years, it has been $695. But today, for at least the next 3 months, we are introducing Pay What You Can. So you can go to our website and determine which of these you can actually afford. We know that in these very difficult financial times, people need this help more than ever. And I can guarantee you that if you take the certification, it will also change your life. So it looks a lot better on our website, and you can click on the website and choose which one you can afford to pay. So I understand that it is a little after 2, and I don't know, did we have many questions, Linda? Are you able to see them?
Yeah, I can see it. Someone's looking for a syllabus. Their employer asked them for a syllabus in order for them to register. So we have that question. And another question, what do you think is more helpful to clients' mental health? Saving or paying down debt?
Oh, if only there were a simple answer. I actually was reading about that this week as I created this training. I would professionally say paying down debt. The interest rate on debt today is quite high, depending on your credit score, and likely to just keep getting higher. And the theory through all the decades that I've been doing this is that you are never going to earn the same kind of interest on savings that you're saving by eliminating or paying down debt. So I am confident and comfortable in saying paying down debt. which is not to say that you shouldn't have some emergency savings. We don't know what's going to happen next. We don't know if there's an illness and might have to get on a plane, which is never fun, and fly to be of help to a friend or family, or have our hours reduced or our job eliminated. So primarily pay down debt, don't build it up again, and do your best to have at least a small emergency fund. Anything
Okay.
else? As
Will you
far
please?
as that first question, Linda, if that person would email me, you can see my email right up there, rita@financialsocialwork.com. I can send you something for the overview of the certification.
Okay. That's perfect. Thank you. And then we've got one more. I know there's still some folks on the line. So would you please go back to the definition of financial behavioral health?
Sure. How do I do that? Okay. Okay. Here we go. I don't know how else to do this. There it was. Was that it?
There you
Yes.
go.
Here we go. Identifying, addressing, and reducing the problem, stress, anxiety, shame, and the other harmful feelings that result when money, physical, mental, and emotional health negatively converge. It is behavioral health, and it is factoring in money. Anything else?
No, but we had several people who thanked us for this wonderful presentation.
Well, I thank all of them for staying with us, for participating, and I hope, and I'm glad you appreciated it, and I hope we'll see you next month at our next free training. And certainly feel free to share our invitations and information with anyone else, because we have some other exciting things planned for you. Okay, well, thanks everybody. Stay well, and a belated Happy New Year. Okay, bye now.